My name is Matt Coplin. I'm 47 years old. I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. This is Spoken Word, presented by Profile Racing and Radshare. I grew up about 6 miles north of here in Tampa, Florida, and getting into BMX in November of 1989, I was at my grandmother's house and the movie Rad came on, and I thought that looked really cool. So it was something that kind of clicked for me then, and soon after I got a bike. Rode alone a lot for probably the first year of riding, and the neighborhood that I grew up in North Tampa there wasn't really anything near it. It didn't have any parks to go to. It was just rows and rows of houses, as you'd probably picture anything, outside of Florida looking in. That's kind of the way Florida has been developed. And there was no real places to ride. We had to make do with what we had, cutting little bits of basically indents in the dirt to make jumps out of. I remember we would set up cups from like the local convenience store to kind of hop over as we learned to bunny hop and do rollbacks down the driveway. Our driveway was kind of at a little bit of a slant, so we learned kind of rollbacks down the driveway and whatnot. But other than that, there really wasn't much to ride. So one of the things that I think we really honed in on was this idea of experiencing the ride, not only looking for things to ride, but you start to notice things that are outside that spectrum of things to ride. And what I mean by that is that nature becomes a little bit more, you kind of get a little bit more in tune to what you're looking at when it comes to the natural environment and to the history or the lack thereof of history. And with Tampa being kind of a newer city in a newer state, there wasn't, from my perspective, a lot of older history, which is kind of what I yearned for, riding bikes. And then in school as well, it was just something that we didn't have, I felt, the experience or something there for us to experience. So with riding, we would, as we got a little older, we would start pedaling outside the neighborhood. And because we didn't have cars, we would pedal to wherever we went. It became farther and farther and farther. And it's funny because even though we're 6 miles from where I grew up, this was a neighborhood that we pedaled into and beyond. Through that, you find more things to ride. You find more experiences that are outside of riding. Like I said, being a little bit more in tune to the environment, being more in tune to whatever history is there for you to react to or to look at. And what I discovered through riding, as a kid, and then as I'm an adult now doing the same, is you really discover all this super unique stuff that's kind of right in your own backyard that you never really had a chance to really appreciate until you realize what it is. And as we pedaled farther and farther out, we discovered a downtown area, which actually is pretty old for the state of Florida. And then we actually pedaled into Ybor City, which is a sub-city outside of Tampa Bay, which has a very rich history in Florida history, but also in, believe it or not, world history. So one thing about growing up in Florida, not knowing nor appreciating what we had here, was this desire to get out. Like when I was in middle school and high school riding bikes, I just wanted to experience everything outside of Florida. And what I've realized getting older is how rich Florida is, and the riding scene is rich. The scene here with the people involved is incredible. The history here is amazing. The ecology here is some of the most unique ecology in the United States. The environmental surroundings here are super unique considering we're in this subtropical climate. So I've really learned to appreciate that, especially when riding street. And that's what I hope to capture with this series. So being with Profile It's been 22 years now. I've been the team manager for 21 of those 22 years. And with working there, I've been able to travel a lot out of state, out of the country. And what I'm beginning to realize is that the older I get and the more I travel, the more I just want to come back to Florida. And it's a really special place for me here, and it's an honor to be able to show everyone what it's like to ride bikes in this state. So I hope you enjoy.